Welcome to Viva La Visionary, the podcast that celebrates the innovative ideas and mindsets of entrepreneurs and visionaries. Join your host, Coach Bob Schittefeld, as he dives into inspiring stories and practical insights from trailblazers who are changing the game. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned leader, this show is your source for motivation and creativity. Let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Hi, Coach Bob here, founder of the Visionary Forum and host of Viva La Visionary, the podcast to, for, about, and from visionaries, and excited to have Adrian Keogh with me today. Adrian, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So excited to have a fun conversation. I like to start, nice and easy, nothing too heavy. So, Adrian, why are you on this planet?
Oh my gosh.
Then we'll get deep.
I really think it's just honestly it's to glorify God and to help people. And one of the things I just love to do is actually help other business people.
Right.
I love to help business people have their aha moments about who they are, and that they can do this.
Right. No, I totally get that. And that's a common theme, maybe not with all visionaries, but the ones that seem to be attracted to us. It is we want to help people to figure stuff out. I think a lot of us are trying to figure some stuff out for ourselves, but that's another thing. But cool. And when did you first know you were a visionary?
Well, that's funny. That's a funny story because I was an accidental visionary.
Right.
And so basically, at one point, I came across the Canadian border and immigrated over here on September 10th of 2001, so the day before September 11th.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And for a corporate job, and moved into a house on Grace Avenue in Rochester.
Huh. And
the very next morning, September 11th hit. And so I worked through corporate marketing departments. And then back in 2008, there was a major corporate layoff that had occurred within the marketing departments, basically. And so it was a kind of a mass exodus in a way. But I found myself sitting here going, well, what do I do? And I sat at my kitchen table while my wife took care of her twin, toddlers and another a third child that was younger. And I just said, well, what am I going to do? And I just felt strong confidence that I need to make a run at this,
right,
and not to go back into corporate. And I just really felt that drive of let's see what's going to happen. How do we do this? Don't know. Where's it going to go? Don't know. But what I do know is I'm not going back into corporate.
Right. So I don't know if you remember the clip, I use it a lot, from Bill Murray from Ghostbusters, and they get kicked out of the university, and he and Dan Aykroyd are sitting there, and they have a little pint of something in a brown paper bag, and he's like, well, so we got kicked out, what are we going to do now? And Bill Murray, he's smiling, he goes, I don't know. And he's like, this people expect results out there, and how are we going to come up with the money? He's like, I don't know, when he takes a drink. I just think but just that smile on his face, and I love that how you said it too. It's like, I don't know, but I don't know if it's a calling, something that I think, and I think everyone can be tied into something greater than ourselves, whatever that means for people. But I feel we visionaries, we are tapped in more. We don't always listen, and I think we're listening more and more. But I appreciate you recognizing the calling. That's awesome.
Yep.
Cool. And then I know you've used community to help you to grow. So tell me a little bit about, because I think you were EO Accelerator and now you're EO, correct?
Yep.
And how
That's
did that
correct.
community help you in your development?
So I was introduced to Wes Matthews and Dan Isidork, and both of them really encouraged me to get a part, and participate in the EO Accelerator group. Wes had said, "Hey, I'm exactly where you are." Like, right. Let me rephrase that. I was where you are today. And EO really helped me. And then Dan also stated the fact that, hey, look, I just want you to check this out. If you don't like it, I'll refund your money. Right. But what ended up happening is I went to Cash Day, And, being in the marketing agency world, we deal with a lot of ups and downs. It's a very roller coaster ride in a lot of ways. Contracts come, contracts go. Marketing people within companies come and they go, and they select their own people. And so we had experienced really high highs, and we were in a low at that moment. And so Dan is like, just please come. And I did. And what ended up happening was I ended up knowing 3 other people that were in there.
Right.
And then they had a panel discussion, and one of my clients came in and was on the panel discussion. But here was the kicker, Dan. Dan gave his testimony. And when he gave his testimony about being an entrepreneur, I identified with it.
Right.
And I said, Dan is telling the truth. Everywhere else I go, it's always a persona of how good things are and how well their companies are doing. But Dan was telling the truth about the ups and downs. And because I was in a low, that's when I said, oh my goodness, I can identify with these people.
Right.
And I need help.
Just me. Right.
It's not just me.
Right.
And that's what started my journey. And then I was a part of Accelerator for three and a half years. Took a while for me to start to understand the principles of business. What are we looking at here? Because I had been in corporate. I hadn't really understood really what it takes to run a company, all the different aspects. So it took me about 3.5 years to finally crest the $1 million. Once that happened, it was a very humbling moment. Yep, because you just there's a recognition I think that visionaries have where they know where they have to go. They can kind of see it, and they have a fortitude. They have this sort of like maybe grit is what we call it, would just keep one foot in front of the other, keep going. I know I'm supposed to be over there.
Right.
But you realize at the same time you can't do it by yourself.
Yep.
And so it's a humbling moment of realizing how much we actually are relying on everybody else to help us along that journey.
Right. So much of it's about community. As you know, I was one of the original, really the second group of entrepreneurs in EO Detroit, and it changed my life. And as we were talking earlier, I mean, probably a third of the people at my wife's wedding and I 25 years ago were EOers. And it's just been such a community a foundation for the city. And again, open and honest discussion. We're there for each other. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Yep.
Now, how would you differ EO from the Visionary Forum?
I think the EO is like, are we talking about forums specifically? Like the EO forum?
No,
Or
just in general, because I mean, again, I'm a huge fan and owe a lot to EO,
I
and I'll
think
be a
that,
part of it until the day I die. And I just felt that there was another, in addition, it's an and, not an
yeah.
or. I just wanted to get your take on
Yeah, I think that what I see with EO as a general, it's social. There's a social aspect to it of getting together and knowing people, and really kind of getting to know who they are. There's the educational aspect, and then there's the forum aspect. So how I see the Visionary Forum and how it's different is the Visionary Forum is specifically for visionaries.
Right.
To help us to see, I think, what we cannot see. It's more focused on some educational components. So you always have these guest speakers that are giving us, golden nuggets on how to improve and what to think about and hopefully get some aha moments.
Right.
And then our mini forums where we get to just tell the truth.
Right.
With people that are not trying to dig into our business.
Right.
They just want to listen and give some clarity if they can. And it's a quick boom. I can get this off my chest.
Right.
I can get it off out of my mind, out of the darkness into the light. And then boom, it's like you walk away and you go, that was fun.
Right.
That was actually fun.
Yeah, and to me, it's an and again, I'm forever indebted to EO, and going to be getting re-involved with
Yeah,
that.
I don't see a competition between the two whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think the Visionary Forum that you've started is a really complementary, kind of a cherry on the top type of
Right.
experience.
I appreciate that. And literally in working with EO when they were talking about, but it's called the Visionary Forum. I'm like, well, I'm such a fan of Forum, of a confidential peer group with structure that anyway, I'm like, that's what it is. And so we're actually in the
Mhm.
process of renaming it, not just for EO, but it is something like Visionaries Connect. That was really one of our original names. So what do you do at Visionaries Connect? We connect with visionaries. It's so
Yeah,
something like that because it really isn't forum other than the beauty of confidentiality and open and
yes.
honest. That is huge. And again, EO taught me what that means. And so again,
Yes.
we use a lot of the principles. But yeah. So, anyways, I appreciate
Yeah, and
you.
I'm on the 331 every day,
Right.
and I really like it because I think in my own head, this is what I have to do.
Right.
Like this is my micro world. And then, somebody else, Rufus or Victoria or Angie or anybody else, David, they put in theirs, and I read them and I
Right.
go, I never thought about that.
Right.
That's a great idea. Or maybe I need to expand my vision outside of this micro bubble that
Right.
I feel like I'm in.
And
It's really helpful. It's fascinating to see what other people are dealing with.
I love that. And I've learned so much about people in being in a 331. 331, just so everyone knows, it's a daily activity. It's literally my meditation that I do each day. It takes about 5 minutes. I list out the three things that matter most to me today, the three top impactful action items. If I do or be these things today, it's a great day. And then my one, if it were up to me. So that's just a great exercise before I do anything else other than maybe some breathing. And then any worthy goal written down and shared is bound to happen. I think that's an Earl Nightingale. Hopefully it's him. I'm giving credit to the right person. Uh, but then I get to hear others, and
Yep.
so I'm like I get to know that someone's dealing with an aging parent or they've got a wedding coming up or whatever, and that's that connection.
Yep.
I love
I
that. So
agree.
yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly because why I joined EO in the first place was recognizing I cannot do this alone
right,
and recognizing that other people are going through the same things I'm going through.
right,
I mean, fundamentally, that's what it was. Like, I didn't join EO, I did join EO for education, but the
yeah,
primary purpose was to settle down with people who were in business that were going through the same challenges,
right,
just different industries, different cities, different
right.
whatever, but they're all common. Our struggles are common.
Yep, for sure. And successes, yeah. Yeah, a quick example of that was years ago. My business, we were doing 15 million in revenue, and one of my buddies is like, "Wow, you've made it." I'm like, "Okay, what does that mean?" Well, you're 15 million in revenue. I'm like, "Okay, do you know the difference between revenue and profit?" And they're like, "Well, what is that?" I'm like, "Okay, profit is this." And we're looking to grow that, but again, to be open and honest with other, again, like you said, to share with other peers, but also learn from the peers. It's like, okay, that's great. You got the revenue. Where's the profit, buddy?
Yeah, and we've experienced that where
Yeah,
you get high revenue, low profits, and now, thankfully, through the groups that I'm a part of, I'm learning to say, okay, look at, what is the saying? Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity,
right.
cash
Love it.
is king, and recognizing like we can do a great job bringing clients in, but now we have to manage the clients. It's
Right,
it's sort of like you get the work, you do the work, you get paid.
right,
And in order to that balance there is really, really important. Some of us do much better on getting the work. Some people do much better on producing the work.
right,
And but in the end, it's really what are you kind of earning, and then how are you using those earnings,
right.
in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, to better the people around you, not just for ourselves, but for human beings.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. So, in your definition, what is the role of the visionary? What are we responsible for?
My definition of it is that my role and responsibility, like if I look at my own personal experience, what I have to do is look out beyond the horizon to what I see coming down in the future. A sense of not only anticipation but expectation on what is happening, where the opportunities are, where the potential staffing needs are, where the market trends are going, having discussions with people at a high level of where we see different aspects of the business or industry. Just looking, basically playing the role of the, like a general in the old days would sit on a hilltop, and he would be able to look out according to his vision and see the troops before him. Some would be raising the flags for the standard bearers where they were, and it was the general, which is what I see the visionary as,
Right.
being able to look out and see the battlefield that's going on before them and be able to direct the troops to where they need to go. And in my opinion, the troops are just the different divisions or staff or anything like that. And you're gaining intel from people, and then you're filtering that intel to the, as I love, like Rhonda Myers has told me, the greatest, highest good is what she's always said to me. And you're making the decisions. And so, of where we spend our time, where we spend our efforts, where we spend our resources. That's what I really see the visionary as.
Yep, love it. Very cool. And what's one thing you've learned over the years that you either started doing, stopped doing, or something that really catapulted you either as an individual or as a leader, as a visionary? So what's one experience share to say, boy, when I did this or when I figured this out, it changed my world? What's one experience share you can do?
Okay, one major thing I can tell you right now, and this may be funny, uh, it was like accounting in the business. Like I've built, thankfully, a redundant system where I have a fractional CFO, an administrator, and a CPA that all see the finances. And so what it's done is help me to step back and not worry about that
Right.
and allow them to communicate to me when they see something that needs to be fixed. And I didn't know this about myself, but worry about money was a big thing.
Sure.
And I never had worry about money until I became an entrepreneur and then had the layers of responsibility. So that was one of the major areas that changed my life as an entrepreneur. And the other was to really focus in on key relationships, higher level relationships. And so building out, which I'm still in the midst of doing, I have a junior salesperson who's not a junior in age or experience, just where I'm now being able to like delegate the clients that I cannot spend the time with,
Right.
so that I can focus in on the ones that are really important, maybe advantageous, or have purpose to advance, where we want to go. Those are probably the two most important things I've ever done.
Love it. Cool. And what's one opportunity that you're working on now that it's like a game changer for you, again, either personally or professionally?
Huh. That is an interesting question. Um, we are working with a client today. And because I'm in the marketing world, a fair amount of agencies hire us to do higher level, higher quality, white glove type work. And so I'm working with an agency that's national. And I can't really say their name, but they've hired us to help rebrand, redevelop their marketing and communications. And through that relationship, uh, we are gaining access to other very high top level organizations. And it's just a fun, fascinating experience. So if we go back to one of your earlier questions about like what is the role of the visionary, part of it is to have fun. We're supposed to be having fun in what we do. And then this is just occurring to me on how to explain this. The other key moment that I did was to delegate or eliminate the things that are not fun for me.
Right. Love
And
it.
that has changed it. So right now what we're working on is just this really key relationship within the automotive industry. And it's fascinating because it's fun. And we're getting we're getting exposure amongst a whole group of different people that would never know we exist.
Right.
And I think that is the thing that drives us the most. The other is we instituted we're at the very beginning, but we're instituting a process within our L10s where we're adding a question that then we can IDS, which is what can we do to add value to the marketplace and at the same time earn monthly or annual reoccurring revenue. So for example, with where we are, what can we do to add value to the marketplace where we could sell APIs, integrations with software, where we could add mobile app type of integrations or website integrations and put them on the marketplace. So we're innovating to help somebody and earning revenue.
Right. Love it.
That's what we just started to do in our L10s.
Right. Love it. So I heard you say, and there's just a alarm in the background. They say it's a test, so no need to run, and hopefully it's not too disturbing. But what I heard, you're marketing, you're helping a marketing company to market.
Yep.
That's amazing, and it gets me to think. When you said that, when I was in distribution, who did I market to? Were companies in distribution, not always the end client. And a lot of people I know. That's an interesting question. How many of us visionaries are not blowing up our industry, but refining it and redefining it? So that's very interesting. So becoming real thought leaders in our industry, which a lot of us are.
Yeah, because there's so much work out there. I don't really believe that we say we're in competition with people, but the reality is my best clients, and I kid you not, most often have come from other agencies.
Right.
And so being helpful to other agencies and counseling them, almost like, as an example, the same way you do and we do within our forums, where we're just open-handed helping.
Right.
And you never know where it's going to go. And for me, it's been a blessing because trust has been built.
Right.
And camaraderie, connection, all of those things that we crave as human beings. We desire this. And we're getting it, and I'm learning how to get it by being open.
Right.
With you can't say that, my hands are open. And doing that, like the best referrals I've received. I mean, I just received one yesterday from another EO member who is an agency.
Right.
And he said, this is not up our alley, but would you like to take this on? And it's perfectly up our alley because of the nature of the complexity of it.
Right. Well, you helped me, Adrian. I talk a lot about creating and promoting authentic thought leaders. And so as a life coach and a business coach, I help people to say, okay, so what is it you are a thought leader of or you want to be? And it's interesting because, and again, a lot of times it's in our industry. And so I was a thought leader in distribution, for distribution in one aspect, but also for culture, but then I was communicating that to distribution. But it was interesting when I went back to my industry and I explained how to market into Canada and the options. My company was like, you're telling them they can go elsewhere. I'm like, well, they know they can go elsewhere. So why not be the thought leader to say you can do A, B, or C? Here's when you would want to do that. And if you're going to do each of those, here's what to look for. And by the way, we're B. And if you're looking for B, we're really good. And so we got more business by being open and honest to say, hey, if
Yep.
you're huge, you should go direct to Canada Post. And I actually got some people that were going direct to Canada Post, but they're like, you're a thought leader and you're open, honest, vulnerable, and you can turn around information. We got business from A and C, even though we were B. So you helped me. That was great. To be a thought leader in our industry is awesome.
It just, if we, the golden rule, if we really look at other people and say, look, I want to help you,
Right.
they know whether you're genuine or not. They know whether you're giving them good information or not. And everybody at their core root, I believe, desires to be safe and be in like good quality trust relationships.
Right.
Period. Because we're all dealing with the same, I call it funsies, the same funsies of life.
Well, it's interesting, and now with AI coming, which I'm very new to it, and I'm excited about it, to be honest. A lot of people are afraid of it, but even more, so it can help us to get rid of the mundane stuff and the stuff that can be automated. And then what's left, and the thing that can't be automated, is the human relationships and the
Yep.
trust. And
Yep.
I think that's the main thing that we're here for, is those big relationships. And it's not just to be a problem solver, but it's to be human and to be trusted, and to have our hands out to serve. I love it.
Amen. Yep, it's so true. And I completely forgot that you were a part of the Canadian world there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for a long time. Yeah, it's boy, that's a whole nother
that's right.
discussion. Well, so let me share something with that. I love to coach, and I love a business operating system, and again, I've been a big part of that. And I'm more on the life operating system side. So I was like, boy, as soon as I sell my company, then I'm going to spread my wings. And I've realized that and I wouldn't change anything that I've ever done. I love where I'm at. But a lot of times visionaries are like, well, as soon as this, then I'm going to show up. And so one of the things that we talk about is to live your legacy now. So,
Yes.
how do you want to be remembered, and start living it now? And
Yes.
maybe you don't have to sell your business, because what's beautiful about the visionary is, as long as I'm available for my team, it's actually good for me to get out of their way and to let go of the vine. But then that may be 2 hours a week, 20 hours another week, but I don't have to sell to then go show up. So yeah, I was in Canadian distribution, which was kind of boring, but it was the relationships and the culture. So,
Yep.
again, lesson learned, I could have launched into my coaching career even more and still been the visionary once we got the
Yep.
team in place.
I have a friend that's a part of my EO forum, EO Detroit forum, who became a thought leader.
Yeah,
He didn't think that this was going to happen, but he just told us that he got picked up as an industry expert to
right.
become a consultant for other like businesses.
That's awesome. Right,
And he's like, wow, I
right,
didn't know that what I knew would be so valuable for them.
right. Hmm.
But
Well,
he's excited about it. He's like, this is so cool.
all right. Well, it's interesting as my mind is going, where I'm a coach, and ultimately I'm coaching other coaches. And a lot of us are visionaries that are like, you know what, I want to coach. I'm like, okay, they're all going to be
Yep.
I matter coaches, and that's not the case, and that's okay. But then I'm realizing I'm helping to coach coaches and their communities. And to me,
Right.
that's the answer. I think, our
Right. You're
generation.
multiplying your experience, your understanding, your knowledge through all the people you're connected with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a common theme for those of us that we're attracting to the Visionary Forum. It's thought leaders that want to leave a mark, and
Hmm.
make a difference on the world. And Dr. Doug Brackman talks about in Driven that there's 7 or 8% of us that are biologically made up different, and that we, maybe have imposter syndrome, which I was in denial about. But it is about that. It's like, yeah, I'm leaving a mark right now, and kind of proving myself, especially being a visionary. I haven't been able to prove myself in the past because I wasn't as technically good or as good of a student. But I'm a great visionary because I'm unique and I'm me.
Hmm. Yeah, I've had experience as a visionary where I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, we have to do this. If we don't do this, this isn't going to happen.
Right.
Or something's coming down the pipeline, and it's like I think a little bit about like what you said, and you say this all the time, like clarity breaks, clarity breaks, clarity breaks, and I just think about how important it is for visionaries to have that.
Yep.
I'm going to be scheduling a full day retreat coming up just so that I can be alone.
Yep.
And my friend Bob Hoff is lending me his place. He's got a cottage on the lake, and he's just like, go for the day, stay the night, and just bring nothing. Don't bring your laptop.
Right.
Don't bring. In my case, I bring my remarkable tablet and my Bible. That's it. And he's like,
The
and he's
essential.
like, yeah, and just be alone
Yep.
and pray and think and just, how what's this next season? How does this look? How can I benefit my employees? How can I benefit my vendors? How can I benefit anyone in here? And that's going to be the next sort of evolutionary step for me,
Awesome.
is to kind of really separate the time myself so that I can actually, what I call, and I've heard other people say it, so it's not brand new to the marketplace or to business owners, but to imagine.
Right.
Like, I want to get myself into the place where I can separate and imagine what is possible.
Right.
Where can we go if my imagination can be free to explore it, ideate?
Right. So you're up here as opposed to worried about accounting, which we have to do both. It's an opportunity.
Which I still have to do. I just don't like it.
I can appreciate that. Well, you mentioned the 331. That's one of our iMatter tools. Another tool I'll send you information on if you don't have it. It's the Take 5 check-in, and
Yep.
I do that weekly, and that has been a great thing for my clarity breaks and/or my time away, because it's a safe space to hear myself think and to feel myself feel. And when I used to feel that it was my main strength was my high energy and go, go, go. And I'm realizing as I slow down at least some of the time and listen, whether it be to hear, or something, that when I slow down and listen, the clarity is amazing. So have fun with your day long.
And it's interesting. You just said something that I just never thought about before you just said it here, which was, I think what I'd like to do is we have every Monday, all the leaders of the company do a what we call the Monday morning playbook. And I think what I'd like to do is add like the Take 5 as an example to that, and to teach my leaders how to do that, and to add that into their Monday morning as like a part of the process to think through the week. Thank you for that. So that's my takeaway.
Yay. Aha. Well, I'll share the Take 5 with you. We can talk more about it after. But yeah, that is, and it's asking myself 8 questions, and then it's the why and the next step behind those questions that's the key. Because it's ultimately getting into unscatter the chatter. Because I'll be like, oh my gosh, I hope Adrian doesn't fire me today. It's like, okay, well, that might be something that I'm frustrated about or dreading. But then it's to at least realize I have a conversation going on up here. Why not be a part of that conversation, and why not shift it? Because most of the chatter that from the outside is negative, and a lot of the chatter up here is negative. So,
I call it flip the script.
Yep. No, I love it.
Flip the script. Yep. Because the battlefield that goes on here, oh my gosh, I have a meeting coming up and I'm dreading it.
Right.
And then you go and you have the meeting and it's nothing like you thought it would be.
Right. Yep. And if I put energy out of fear, I'm probably going to get fear back. So before I have a big meeting, I'll just be grateful for it and think about that person and how grateful it is. And then I show up differently and there's a different result. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yep, it truly is, right? It truly is.
Yeah, so I'm learning to slow down personally. So I have one more question for you, but before I do you have any either questions for me or any other points you want to share to visionaries?
I think the issue that I would say is to other visionaries is, I believe wholeheartedly God made you this way. And he's equipped you this way. It may not feel like it. You may not experience it every day.
Right.
It might feel like it's war. But I definitely believe that you've been made for this.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, and I had the good fortune of being very good friends with Gino, the creator of EOS, and we're best friends. And he was my EOS implementer. I was his third client, and he helped me to understand. That's when I first realized I was a visionary. And I'm like, I shouldn't have a business. I suck at this. And he's like, well, take a deep breath, dude. You actually do have a place, but you need a process and the people. And
Yeah.
so, but it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy, or I am crazy, and that's okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
and I
it.
just appreciate you, everything that you do, and just your involvement in helping us business owners really, kind of see the path.
Well, thank you. That brings me great joy to hear it. I'm words of affirmation, so keep it coming. But no, it's what gives me the greatest joy is helping. You mentioned ahas earlier. I love it when people have ahas, or I get ahas, as we've had a couple here today. And again, we talk a lot about the role of the visionary, and it's very misunderstood by many, including ourselves. And again, I think to me, not I think I've realized it's less about the doing and more about the being.
Mm,
Be me. That's what
yeah.
got me there. And you said, I've got my 10 steps to being a great effing visionary talk, and so I'm revamping it for the next one. And the number 10 is to have fun, man. I mean,
You gotta have
that is
fun.
what attracts people to me, and that's what taps me into the flow of life.
So I heard this video that a friend of mine sent me, and it's just a 20-minute video that's on YouTube. And I can't even tell you who it was from. I just know it was. He spoke at the New Canaan Society um, annual kind of event, and he talked about the importance of playing.
Yep.
That as human beings, as we grow up, we're taught to eliminate play in favor of proficiency, learning, seriousness, like life is serious, get rid
Yep.
of the playing. But they said children play and imagine,
Right.
and that's how they learn. So he had an experience where a friend of his called him up and said, I'm really stressed out. I've got this major deadline tomorrow, end of day, and I can't think straight. I'm having that creative block. This person was in the advertising business. In fact, did graphic design work for the NFL
Huh.
and had a major deadline, but was super stressed out. So he said, hey, let's go goofy golfing or miniature golf, right?
Right.
Goofy golfing in Canada, miniature golf over here, right?
Right.
And she goes, "No, you're not hearing me. I have to do this deadline." He said, "Trust me,
Right.
just come out, unplug." So they went, and she texted him the next day and said, "I had a great night's sleep. I felt rejuvenated the next day,
Right.
and by the way, I met my deadlines."
Right. With a
Without
smile.
the stress, without the anxiety, without the fear, without everything, because she had somebody who stepped out and said, "Come, I'll share this with you. And by the way, we'll hit a little ball around."
Right. That's awesome. Goofy golf. I love that. It's interesting. I was when we first started with EOS probably almost 25 years ago. I used to have rocks as a visionary, and we were terrible. And sure enough, I don't know if that's when Gino realized that it's not good for visionaries to have rocks. It's our job to support our team for having rocks. But one rock that I did take that was very successful is for me to spend a half day with either big target market clients or big target market prospects and go play. So I would have a client that I'm like, hey, dude, let me come in and see you. He's like, I'm too busy. But I'm like, hey, can you help me with something? He's like, what's that? And I'm like, I need to have 9 half days this quarter with somebody and we go play. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, do you want to go to a Tiger game? Do you want to go sailing? Do you want to go do this? And he's like, I don't get it. I'm like, it's just, it gets me out of the office. So then I'm not in the way, but I'm going to play. And sure enough, one of my clients, he's like, well, I need some hours in the sky to get it, keep his upkeep on his pilot's license. So we literally flew up north for the day, hung out, had lunch, and flew back. I got more business. And it was just amazing. So yeah, playing is cool, and that's amazing how. And I would go hike with clients, and they'd be like, "Wow, thank you." And I used to feel guilty that I was blowing off work. It's like, no, I was building relationships. I was playing. I was tapping into the energy. That's awesome. Lots of good
Yeah,
ahas today, Adrian. I appreciate it.
this was great.
Awesome.
This
All
is
right. Well,
awesome.
I'm glad. I didn't mean to cut you off. But one last question. So the theme for the rally cry for us in our community and the name of this podcast is Viva La Visionary. So what does Viva La Visionary mean to you?
Man, that it just means, I think to me, like, go do it. It's okay.
Right.
Everything's fine. You know, we worry about things we shouldn't be worrying about, and it distracts us from the things that we should be paying attention to. And just go take the day.
Love it.
You know, go take the day. Like I remember, back to your early question, and I'll conclude with this as well. When I lost my corporate job and I found myself an entrepreneur, I read Joshua chapter 1. Wherever I place my feet is the land that God has given me. Just be strong and courageous. And that's something that I've held on to.
Love it.
And it's like, I believe we are gifted. All entrepreneurs that are going to watch this are gifted and talented to do what they're doing.
Right.
Just go do it. With joy, with fun, and bring somebody else along with you.
Good, I'll join you. All right, Adrian, I appreciate your time, your wisdom, and most of all, your friendship. And nice hanging out with you.
You as well, my friend. Thank
All right.
you.
Peace.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Viva La Visionary. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found inspiration in our guest stories. If you loved what you heard, please subscribe, rate, and share the podcast with fellow dreamers and doers. Join us next time as we continue to explore the limitless possibilities of visionary thinking. Until then, keep dreaming big and taking action. Your vision matters.